Are you in this situation right now where you desperately wish nothing more than a specific person in your life would change? Maybe your partner who keeps shutting down emotionally. Maybe your dad who's slowly destroying himself with unhealthy habits. Or your daughter making decisions that feel absolutely impossible to watch. If you're feeling the urge right now that it's your job to fix them, to somehow save them, then this episode today is for you. Because here's the honest truth up front. You can't change that, and you shouldn't even try. I know that might feel like giving up now, but you can do something instead. And this is what we're talking about in this video. Let's go. Welcome to today's episode. My name is Robert, and if you're new here, I'm not a healthcare professional myself, but instead I share a client's perspective here on this channel. One thing is for sure, if you want to change someone you love, you're also playing the role of the savior here. So if you want to fix someone, here are 3 painful roles you might be stuck in without even knowing it. Role number 1 is what I call enlighten your partner. And maybe that scenario is familiar to you. Your partner shuts down emotionally or lashes out every time vulnerability comes up. You crave connection from your side, but instead you're met with distance or defensiveness. And you just want the best for them. So you try everything. You drop hints, you have long conversations to help them. You send videos, podcasts, maybe even suggest therapy or the Understandable premium course that you can access at understandable.net with a 7-day trial. You think, if I could just explain it better, they would finally get it. They would finally love me the way that I needed it. But nothing changes. They stay the same. And slowly, without realizing it, you start to fade from hopeful to frustrated. There is a lot of anger within you, to resentful, right? And then going numb in the end. You start to question the whole relationship because the truth is your relationship stopped being just a connection and became a mission to build a better version of your partner who never asked it to be rebuilt. And that mission, that's not love. This is yourself, self-abandoning yourself. Painful role number 2 is saving your mom or dad. So maybe one of your parents drinks too much. They refuse to go to the doctor. They keep repeating the same destructive choices year after year. You watch them sabotaging their own health, their relationships, their own life. It's obvious to everyone around you that they make unhealthy and self-destructive choices, yet no one talks about it. So you feel super powerless, and no matter how old you are, of course you feel somehow responsible for your parents. Why is no one else helping them? Why are they so ignorant? So you try. You send them articles. You have gentle talks with them, then firmer talks. You beg, you cry on a drive home, and then you do it all over again in the next month. But still, nothing changes. They're stuck in their patterns. And now, so you are as well. Because deep down in here, the child in you still whispers, maybe if I just love them hard enough, they will finally become the parent that I always needed. And that hope, yes, that's beautiful, but is also keeping you trapped. And savior role number 3 that we see quite often is rescuing your daughter or son. The connection to your own daughter, to your own son, that's obviously a close one. You love them, but sometimes children are making choices that hurt them. And as a parent, you have to watch it happen. Addiction, depression, self-sabotaging, isolation, they seem lost, and it terrifies you. Because deep down, there is also a voice in you that says, this must be somehow my fault. So you step into that relationship, you guide, you try to correct them, you try to cover them, you overfunction and you monitor their moods, their choices, their friends. You plan their safety net before they even fall. You're doing everything you can to hold their life together because the thought of watching them fall apart is unbearable for you. But the harder you try, the more helpless you feel. No matter how much love you pour in, it never feels like enough. You're just not a parent anymore. You're becoming a lifeline here they never asked for and start to slowly drawing with them together. And the worst of all is you've started to disappear for yourself in that process. But here comes the bottom line for those 3 savor stories. You're not suffering because they won't change. You are suffering because you believe it's your job to change them. And that belief, that's what's breaking you. Now, if you feel the need to change someone in your life right now, here is the truth you may have never been told. It was never your responsibility to fix their lives. We all walk our own path, and that includes mistakes. That includes failures, consequences, growth, even pain. And as much as it hurts, you can't take their path away from them no matter how much you love them, because love is not control. What you think is love, what you're trying there is fixing, rescuing, and over-functioning. And that is often a survival strategy that you yourself learned a really long time ago. Let me explain that. As a child, maybe you felt powerless. Maybe no one came to save you. So now you try to save everyone else around you. So what if that belief, if I just try hard enough, I can save them, doesn't come from your own adult wisdom, but it comes from your own inner child's wounds? Well, then let me tell you, it doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. But it also means that you deserve to finally put that burden down. Now let's talk about what you can try and do instead. So if it's not your job to fix them, and if trying to save them is only hurting yourself, what should you do? Here are 3 super powerful steps that you should try if you would like to change someone you love, but they stay the same. Step number 1 is acceptance. And I don't mean the passive kind, I mean radical acceptance. This is the moment where you say, this is their life, not mine. Then you stop trying to steer their choices, to manage their feelings or to predict their pain, because no matter how much you love someone, you don't get to choose their path. But that doesn't mean you stop caring for them. It means you lead by example now. You show through your own healing, through your own boundaries and growth, what's actually possible. You become the living proof of change here. But you let go of the expectation that they should follow. And when you release that resistance, those expectations, then you start to return to yourself. Step number 2 is boundaries. When someone you love is in pain, struggling with addiction, with self-neglect, with emotional chaos, your instinct is, of course, to lean in. That's understandable. You want to carry the weight for them, fix them, or remind or rescue, because you feel that you know better here. But here's what nobody tells you. If you don't draw a very strict line, they will slowly pull you across yours until your nervous system is completely fried and dysregulated, until their crisis becomes your daily emotional baseline, and until you can't even tell where they end and you begin. Therefore, you need to set healthy boundaries. And setting boundaries does not mean cutting them off. It means saying, I love you, but I won't abandon myself for you. You need space, not as a punishment for them, but so you can stay with yourself, so you can stay regulated, can stay steady and sane. And this is, by the way, the only way how you can actually be there for them if they need you. Because if you are chronically emotionally down, then you can't care for them at all. And yes, boundaries are incredibly hard to set, especially when there is guilt, when there is fear and childhood trauma involved that tells you that distance equals rejection in a way. And that's why I dedicated a full class on setting healthy boundaries, right? We have also a full exercise right here, which is super helpful directly from therapy, how I learned to set boundaries. I share that with you here in course 4.1 and in whole class 4. If you want to join us, just go to understandable.net, start your 7-day free trial here. And step number 3, focus on your own healing. A Chinese saying goes, if everyone cleans in front of their own door, the whole street will be clean. And therefore, your number 1 priority is not to change the other person first. Your priority is to build something that's called self-containment. And you train your inner world to stay calm even when theirs is in chaos. This is what real resilience is, and also what real love is, by the way. Not forcing yourself to be strong, but learning how to hold your own emotions without spilling into theirs. Then you can also learn how to hold their emotions better and assist them. So how do you do that in practice? First of all, learn to pause before reacting. When they say something triggering or they do something that upsets you or where you think, you need to help them somehow, when the pain floods the room, just stop. Take one breath, then ask yourself, is this mine to carry or is it theirs? That moment of pause is the beginning of self-containment. I've also once uploaded a video called Between Stimulus and Response Lies Our Freedom, which goes back to the book of Viktor Frankl. I have that here. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And in this book, he describes very lovely how this concept works. I linked the full video up here and in the description below. The next step is to reconnect with your sense of self. You can use a trick that I have from my hypnotherapist. I worked with 2 hypnotherapists in the past, and they told me this exercise that we can do regularly, and it's called focusing through your own eyes again, right? Because as trauma survivors, we often switch into the third person perspective. Then we start to dissociate as well more easily. So we need to start to focus looking through your own eyes again, to perceive the world from a first-person perspective view. And that seems obvious to many people probably, but if you've experienced trauma yourself, if you're dysregulated regularly, then this is a really good thing that you can try. And I described the full exercise as well in our free workbook that you can access as well in our classroom. We have a full course for that, Re-Regulation Resources. And there is exercise also part of our seeing skill set. If you want to download the workbook, you can just go to understandable.net/book, and then you can get the newest version of the workbook right here for free. And last but not least, learn to hold yourself and to hold others. And by holding, I don't mean just holding like this, like embracing yourself. I mean being with you when you experience difficult emotions or triggering emotions, for example. Staying connected without self-abandoning. And I get to manage that for myself often, but it's still sometimes difficult. And this is also top-level stuff that took me nearly 5 years of therapy to actually understand, learn, and how it feels like in the end. I explain how that works as well in course number 6.2 on how to reparent and self-containment, because the whole concept definitely needs a bit more explanation. And I got this as well from therapy. So if you want to learn that, go to understandable.net and check out our courses. Now, after hearing all this, here's what we're all having to learn. We cannot fix them, but we can free ourselves. And sometimes our freedom, our peace, our healing are the thing that inspires them as well. Not the sacrifice, just your example. That's some new kind of love here. Now I'm curious, are you in that exact situation that you currently want to fix or change someone you love? If you'd like to share your experiences, definitely do so below the video. If you want to support the channel, the podcast, definitely become a member in our premium community. And I see and speak to you here next time on the channel. Have a great and hopefully lovely day.